everyone, and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. The wrestling podcast, we review every segment of Raw. Raw? No, we don't. We review every segment of NXT this week. My name. If you guys are wondering what the host is of this show, my name is Turbo Tony. We're here with the one behind the one in 21 and 1, who is the one who sits alongside me, Matt Heyman. How you doing this week, Matt?
I'm very good, man. And yourself?
Not too bad. You guys are probably wondering right now, you guys sound a bit different. What the hell is going on?
It's different. It's a change.
It's a change. Well, as you guys may know, if you've been listening, very closely, we are now sitting across from each other. We normally have a big puddle of water alongside where we are.
A whole load of the so-called interweb.
Yes.
This week.
Yeah. So the audio quality will be a bit different. But we're still here to give you audio goodness. It seems that this is the week of change. Raw wasn't really an episode this week.
Raw didn't. Well, they just televised something.
Yes, pretty much. But we've got plenty of stuff for you there. We've got a great fan feedback for you guys. It seemed like you guys went mental in terms of asking us questions, and we'll go mental right back at you in terms of giving you answers. That's what we do here on this show. And this is our 60th episode. As always, if you do want to follow our Twitter account, and yes, that's in the news this week, Matt.
Damn
Matt
straight
knows
it should
why.
be.
It is at Talk Wrestle Pod that you can tweet us or listen to Matt's tweets, which are now officially endorsed by Paul Heyman. Would you like to start off with that this week?
Oh. As you guys know, both Tony and myself have recently acquired the WWE Network.
Yeah.
And on the Beyond the Ring section, there's a little gem, which is, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
And as you've probably gathered by now, I'm quite a fan of ECW. And in my eyes, Paul Heyman can do no wrong. So I watched this documentary with ears open and just willing to take it all in. And it's amazing. It's just like literally for $9.99, that's worth it for that documentary alone.
I haven't seen it yet myself.
Need to. But you say nice things about Paul Heyman and he'll retweet you. And then as a result, Twitter exploded.
Yeah, for us at least in that case. Paul Heyman retweeted one of Matt's tweets on our Twitter handle. And we got a bunch of new followers on there. And if you are a new listener because of that,
as a result,
welcome to the show. It's nice to see you here. So yeah, Twitter there. If you want to catch more Twitter shenanigans from Matt, then you can go into @TalkWrestlePod. But what have we got for you this week? Wait a minute, guys. There's been no real Raw episode. What do we give to you? We review every segment of Raw. That's what we do here.
Well, we covered half of Raw the night, like the previous night, when we were talking about the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, essentially.
It's like, what are we going to do? Oh, did you pay for it last night? Have it for free.
Yeah, that's one of the questions.
Yeah.
That's one of the questions. But we are going to review every segment of this week's NXT. Yes, you could think, oh, well, why didn't you do SmackDown? Well, because we just don't watch SmackDown.
How many times have we told you we don't watch SmackDown? We don't care for SmackDown.
We had a choice, NXT or SmackDown, and we chose NXT.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line of it there. And I'm
Wrestling Talent or The B Show?
Yeah. And I'm sure, in all fairness, that the majority of people would have made the same choice as us.
Yeah.
So we've got that there. We've got your wrestling news. We've got big fan feedback, our fail of the week, which involves someone almost having their arm amputated. Oh yeah, damn. And obviously we've got the NXT segment there. So apologies if the episode isn't as long. I actually think it might be as long because we've got massive fan feedback.
The feedback we got to go through, yeah.
Yeah. And let's get into our news anyway. We have one that I don't particularly care that much about, and one that I do care about. One, we'll go from the one that we don't. People know here of the words that we've stated in regards to Justin Gabriel before on this show. I outright said that he would not last a minute in the golden age of professional wrestling. This is back to the lead stuff. Well, doesn't matter now anyway. He's gone from WWE.
Yep, just gave up and walked.
Just walked out. Now, I don't blame him too much for this. He wasn't exactly being used.
Yeah. Just like, oh, we need you to go on NXT, and like this new guy's come around, or we need someone to sort of just have a match.
Yeah.
Gabriel!
It wasn't ideal, was it really?
No, not at all.
Don't blame him too much, really, for leaving the company. But at the end of the day, He goes back onto the indie circuit now, and to be honest, we're rarely going to talk about him.
Better. It'll be better for it, to be fair.
Yeah. The issue with Justin Gabriel, right, and the reason why for some people are going around, oh, how he's been misused by W. He was such an in-ring great. He was fantastic. I would argue that a guy called Adrian Neville can do what he can do in the ring better.
Yeah.
And Justin Gabriel has no personality.
Well, I'm trying to think of other people who similar to Gabriel who are better. Kidd.
I think there's a lot of people.
Tyson Kidd, Adrian Neville. Well, if you want high flyers, you've got the entire Lucha Dragon.
Yeah, but
well, I say the entire, the two of them.
The two of them, yeah. And people can think, well, maybe we're slamming on this guy just a bit too much. And he was a great wrestler. I just never thought he had any personality. Yeah. He's like Kofi Kingston to me. I don't think Kofi Kingston's got anything. And Justin Gabriel for me.
What is it with you just hating on bland high flyers? It's like, you're meant to like them. Look, they do all this jumpy, spinny stuff. Do I care for them as a character? No. Fuck them. They are dead to me.
They're dead to me. I'm gonna start getting this reputation of just hating cruiserweights with no personality.
Would you like to see the cruiserweight division? I would rather burn it.
So yeah, Gabriel's going off now. He's probably gonna, hopefully, like I said, it turns out better for him in the long run. But we'll see how it goes from there. I don't think he'll ever come back to WWE, nor should he. No,
it's not like he's going to come back on like, oh my god, he's like Jericho or something like that. It's like, no, he's not at that level yet where he could just piss off for a couple of years and just come back.
I could tell you one place he won't be wrestling anytime soon, and that's Leeds.
Fuck you, Leeds. Yeah, fuck you, Nick Gabriel.
Yeah. Well, he could be a good heel there, I guess. Maybe.
If anyone cared.
Okay, into the next bit of news. There wasn't that much this week. But I got an email. Quite cool email. So did you, actually?
I did, yes.
From WWE that states that for new subscribers of the network, they will be getting February free for the network. And it also includes people that signed up last month. So myself and Matt, who got it launched with the UK date, and Ireland, of course, where I am, will also get it for free for this month. So we won't have to make a payment. That's pretty cool. The fact that it extends back to... I mean, I like saving money. That's always
the one thing I was really worried about is when they were like, "We're giving away February for free." What, to new subscribers? No. You could be with us for a month. We'll still give it to you.
You still give it to you.
Yeah. Rather than I could have just held out for a little longer.
Yeah. Considering all that time, remember when it was initially supposed to launch and they did that free month?
Yeah.
And it never happened. Do you remember that? That was sour taste in everyone's mouth, and they kept plugging it over and over. So fair enough. Yeah. So anyone who did sign up, I know they've got a big influx. Apparently, they got more than they expected from the UK launch, which is always good because they need the numbers for this thing to work.
That's it. Well, they've hit a benchmark for their subscriber count. So
yeah, I think that was it. I think rumours are, because obviously we won't know until the conference call, but rumours are that they are over 1 million now.
Yeah,
which is good for them because they needed to hit that a long time ago. Realistically,
they should have hit 1 million within the US alone.
Yes,
that's the only problem.
That's the issue.
You'd imagine that by now, if everything had gone as they'd have hoped, the opening up to the UK audience would have just brought a 2 million. Or a third.
Well, I doubt they would have got that. I mean, I know where you're going from here in terms of worldwide, if they truly are worldwide, but we know that's them American based, and then really then we like them to be. But yeah, I think that's good. They are trying to get the network. Obviously, it's WrestleMania here. They're going to be plugging the network big. They want it to get a big lump of subscribers, and surely they should, because if last year is anything like this year, you know what I mean. This year is anything like last year. Sorry. Then they're going to have one hell of a hangover after WrestleMania. Yeah, so they need to get those networks locked in before that. You know.
The only problem is I'm kind of seeing it as a whole, because after the Royal Rumble, #cancel WWE Network. Was it cancel WWE?
Yeah, cancel WWE. Yeah.
But it went blew up on Twitter as a hashtag, and I don't know if it's as a result of this free month. It's like, please don't leave us.
Yeah.
Just look.
Free
Fastlane.
Yeah.
Is it going to have an elimination chamber? No. Have Rusev Cena. It's meant to be at Mania.
No. Oh dear, yeah. I think they fired the gun a little bit too early on that.
Just a little.
At the end of the day, it's what WWE decided to go with. So yeah, it is good. And like I said, they are going to be doing. The network is going to start getting pushed a lot more.
Yeah.
More than you would realise going into the WrestleMania season.
Oh, great. More JBL. $9.99!
Yeah. Well,
$9.99!
I think I'm immune to it now because it just happens so much. I'm just used to it. Which
you see JBL and you just you can already hear his voice, and he could be talking about anything else. He can just be making a very serious point, and all I hear is just 9.99.
Yeah.
9.99.
He's gonna get tattooed, you know.
Bargain. 9.99.
Oh dear, but it's still so cheesy the way they plug that. Sometimes they lead it into it, you know. Oh, how much does it cost, JR? Just like, oh, not JR. Sorry, like Lawler. I'm just wishing he's back there now.
To be fair, JR will plug it enough on his podcast.
Yeah, he does plug it.
The one thing is, like, I genuinely had someone ask me, it's like, why did you sign up to it? It's like, because it's a tenner.
Yeah, it's
£15 for a pay-per-view.
Yeah,
there's that whole argument. It's like, why? Because it's so much cheaper.
Yeah, and one of the questions is, and we'll go into it more with the fan feedback, is are we going to review the network? And you know, we'll get into that question there. It's actually our second question.
We could do a little WWE 24.
Yeah, we can talk about that. So yeah, we can talk about that.
We've both seen that one.
Anyway, I think we need to get to the fan feedback now because this is a huge segment.
Spinning off.
Guys, here you commented like crazy. Thank you so much for supporting the show, and it was good that this week we almost had all the classic commenters of our podcast, the supporters that have got it in. And we've got
the commenting veterans.
They've got their badges. I'm sure if we ever start like a forum or like a website sometime, these guys will probably be moderators or something like that because they've been with us for so long at this point. So let's get on with that, will we? We've got plenty of questions to answer, and let's get alongside it. In fact, when we talk about question and answer, I've got an entire page. I've never had.
I am looking at your notes for a change, and it's just like, wow.
Yeah. You can see all my jokes in advance, man. Shame on you. Shame on you.
No spoilers. Loads, but
okay. Fan feedback. Let's start off with Bazooka Majin, and he congratulates us on 200 subscribers. Thank you for that. We were feeling great about it. We're close to 210 now, and that wasn't that long ago that we did that.
Was a week ago.
That was a week ago, yeah. He also asked, his question is that he asks us, what wrestler has the best wrestling attire of all time? Tough one here.
Yeah.
My answer would be Randy Savage, and it's kind of...
Are we doing ring attire? Like what he would actually wrestle
in? Yeah,
what he will come out in?
Oh, that's...
Because if you're going by what they come to the ring in, Randy Savage, good choice.
Yeah.
But you can't mistake Flair. Because to be fair, he has had some amazing jackets in the past.
Yeah, but they were not nearly as colourful as Savage. Come on.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but Savage worked in the sort of like in the way of getting over that he is larger than life macho man.
Yeah.
But whilst I think Flair came down with like some of his jackets over the years, especially like the one in his final matchup with Michaels, was just like, just like that proper like sort of bullet point right at the end, just to really cement that he is the nature boy.
Yeah, I think some of the other good ones. I would go personally. My pick is Randy Savage, right? But I think some of the other ones you could pick out. The Undertaker, he's had some really good ones, especially his Mania ones.
Especially to be mixed in with the entrances that he's been having at Mania.
Yes. And if anyone asks us the question of who has the best entrance of all time, Taker's got it. Like that's for me outright. I think the Walking Dead entrance that he had was phenomenal.
The whole hands crawling out, the smoke. It was proper chilling, wasn't it? It was great.
He's had a few that have been very, very good. But I'm going with Savage. Are you going with Flair?
I'll stick with Flair.
Oh, really? Okay.
I will admit though, it's like, but for colour, I think Mysterio in his heyday of going with, but like for the big matches, he'd go for like the big headdress. Or like for what was currently trending of like a cult icon at the time. So he's come out as Captain America before and all things like that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's had good attires in the past.
I think he's a little bit when you talk about wrestling attires, I think he doesn't get featured enough. I think like he does quite
nowadays,
well. Mysterio,
like, who is Mysterio?
Yeah. But I think he's great with his stuff. The fact how many miles he has, like hundreds upon hundreds of masks. Yeah. And that's dedication.
And all pants to go with it as well. So it's literally like, what colour am I going for this week? I'm going to go for the red, I'm going to go for the blue, and I'm going for the blue and red.
Why do I imagine he's like Roger from American Dad with like revolving fucking wardrobe that seems to go out of nowhere?
Just the mask, like just like a three spin wheel on a Vegas strip, just like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That mask, that thing, that works good.
Yeah, it just goes out. Poor Mysterio hasn't been able to use them though recently with his recent contract issues. But my pick is Randy Savage, Matt's is Ric Flair, and I'm sure there's a great image collection somewhere of Flair's just decadent like robes, and he would spend extortionate amount of money on those
Crazy
stuff.
money on his gear.
But I just think in terms of wrestling and timing, that Randy Savage had tons of it.
The tassels and everything.
Yeah. I'm sure there's someone I'm missing. I'm sure there's someone I'm not putting my finger on. So, Bazooka, let us know if there's someone that you were maybe thinking. I'm sure that will jog something in my head. But that's just instantly who comes to my mind is Savage. But you're thinking now, Matt.
I'm trying to think. But I'm really... No, I can't think of anyone else. I think like Warrior, but all he really did was change his face paint.
Yeah.
It's not really so much of an attire.
It wasn't so much iconic, I don't think.
Yeah, it was always the same.
Like, it's like you can't, like...
I liked Sting.
This Sting stuff was pretty good.
I think Crow Sting was really good. Because it was... Oh, it's like good attire. Is it just like... Well, it looks good because it's nice, big and flashy.
Yeah.
Or is it just like, it's so perfect to the character?
The face paint of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get you. There's a lot of people that could probably throw their hat into it. I still stick with
Hogan. Fuck it.
No, Hogan. I don't think Hogan factors into the conversation.
The yellow and red.
Yeah, I don't think it's good enough. Obi-Wan Jabroni, who, by the way, does still have like one of the best names on YouTube I've ever seen. I still tip my hat to you, good sir. He asks us, here we go, when we will do a full review of the network. Now, most likely, I think this will probably be in around about a month's time. I think leading up
enough
to
time to us actually get through a lot of it.
It's not so much like for me.
Not the fact that I haven't watched a lot of it already, but
like for me, it's I've already reviewed what's there. I need to review how often stuff comes onto the network now, and it takes time for me to realistically be able to do that.
If I can just say one thing, I think the rate that new product comes up to it is fine. Yeah. So I think it actually works with the fact that it's like, if you're still trying to work through the back catalogue, by the time you even come to more modern stuff, you're already a few months behind.
Yeah.
So I think that's quite good. But I think Raw needs to catch up.
Yeah, the Raw thing.
Raw? No. Like the last time I checked, what's the last Raw episode on here? Slammies. What?
Yeah, something wrong, yeah.
Like a month and a half ago.
I know that's due to their TV contracts.
That's TV licensing and all parts like that, I understand, but it's just sort of like...
Yeah, no, I agree. It is odd, and like I said, like one of the main things I thought was an issue with the network all along was the fact that our Raw weekly schedules of watching Raw doesn't change. That hasn't changed with buying the network. We still watch Raw the same way that we have because that's the only way we can do it.
Yeah.
But the other question here, we will review this. In around about a month, and we'll go into huge detail. It'll probably be an extra segment that we do on the show. Probably after Fastlane, I'd say probably will be when we do
I think that'd be a fair shout.
Yeah. You also ask here, what devices do we watch it on? Now, personally, I think you're the same as me, Matt, anyway, but PC and Xbox 360 is what I watch.
Not watched it yet on PC.
You've been all 360?
360 and mobile.
Oh, you got it on your mobile?
I
didn't realise that you could... I know you could get it on your mobile.
Yeah.
Matt literally has a TV for a fucking phone. It's fucking massive. It's bigger than my laptop.
Don't hate on the Samsung.
Yeah.
But no, as a result, it was just like, I have a really big mobile screen, and it's really good. I want to get the network.
Yeah.
No. In fact, it was on my phone, subscribed and did everything for it. First thing I watched was NXT on the phone.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, I don't find much difference though. Like it handles exactly the same way. I don't know for PC, but like
PC's much more different.
My phone runs the same as the 360.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into my thoughts on the PC. The PC version, I think, is the ultimate version of the network, right? The 360, I still think is fine. I know that you say here in your question that you watch it on the Xbox One, so I know you say here you get app achievements. I didn't even know you could get app achievements on the Xbox One. I just don't have it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You said one of them here is like you have to watch 5 episodes of Total Divas, which I don't imagine. I know you're freaking out.
Man, that'd take me ages. Like the fact that it's like I've only just watched 1 episode and I had to really soldier through myself through that one. It's like, nope, I'm gonna do it. I got 5 minutes through it first time, gave up. Yeah. A week later, I was like, nope, I'm determined. I have nothing else to do. And then I think I watched WWE 24 by that point.
Yeah, which watched it all the way. That was great. With me, though, I'd probably get it because my wife watches Total Divas. So there you go. She'd get it.
Forced upon you.
That's it. And you also here leave a nice comment stating that we referenced this at the Royal Rumble review that we did. That when there's a completely, utterly horrible Raw, It's nice to watch us recap it, and sometimes you'd rather gouge out your eyeballs than watch it, but you know that we'll save you. I think that's really nice. But first of all, I thought that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
if we
man.
what if we skip another week?
And then you're going to actually gouge out your eyeballs. Like, I can't hold with that sort of pressure.
Yeah.
Like, there is a man out there who will no longer type in and sign in as Obi-Wan Jabroni because I failed as a podcaster.
We're going to have like a self-Oberyn Martell moment on here, people think we're the Mountain or something along those lines. But yeah, no, thank you. That's really cool to hear you there. And part of the fun for us as well on Bad Wars is the fact we get to come here and just
rinse on it
a little bit. Yeah.
Did we like it? Hell no. And here's why. Slate it.
Slate it a little bit. We still do enjoy better Raws more, but it makes the Bad Raws a bit better being able to talk about it and obviously have your guys' responses to it there as well. So thank you very much for that question and that nice comment as well. Robert Chapman gave us a bunch of comments this week. A lot of them. So I picked out the ones that I thought we could respond to best. But I know you left a lot here. A lot of them, I think, when you were watching the Rumble and stuff. So that was cool. He references you're doing the thingies, Matt, last week. Remember the trumpet?
Oh, yeah.
Doing the thingies. And yeah, I think I need to rip that audio out and make that part of our new intro.
That could work.
Yeah. Welcome to Let's Talk Wrestling. I'm doing the thingies.
The doohickey.
Yeah. Right, so here we go to the actual question. He asks us whether we think Roman Reigns is Cena 2.0. It's a big question. And I think it was something that we referenced a little bit, that we think that WWE are booking him in a way that they think that will get John Cena over. I don't think he's Cena 2.0.
I can understand why people would see it that way, but no.
Not yet.
I think there's that real difference between... Reigns does not have the charisma that Cena has.
Yeah. Let's be honest.
Whether he will ever have it or whether it's just a thing that will come eventually, we can't say.
Yeah.
But so as a result, Cena got over by being the gobby shit.
Essentially at the start.
Especially when he started off with his chain link gang and all things like that. But because he can be that, he then got into the fans. But I think Reigns is the physical guy. And we've mentioned this before. If Reigns literally comes out and says nothing but punches a heel in the mouth,
that'll be better than saying something.
Fine. That'll be fine. Especially it's just like, I'd rather him never speak again before he tells me how Bar Black Sheep fucking got wool. Like, oh, dude, like how? It's ridiculous.
I'm so sad that people missed that episode that was lost because the amount we rinsed over that, it was funny as hell. But yeah, I think that Roman will always be more of a physical entity and an imposing entity than Cena as a character would ever be.
Yeah,
Cena to me looks too blue collar. He for all of his chain gang and I'm from the mean streets of Boston, Massachusetts. He looks like a corporate guy, and I know that, Roman, wherever you think of him. But Roman looks more like an ass kicker to me.
Yeah, I think it might be simply because he's part Samoan.
Yeah, there is.
Because Samoans always look like ass kickers.
Here's a part here as well that I think that part of the reason, I do think they're trying to book him a little bit like Cena 2.0. A little bit, in the way that they're doing it. But the thing is that the fans of today are not the fans of 10 years ago. The fans of today are a lot more jaded now than they were back then.
10 years ago, it was a feud with Big Show that pushed Cena to the next level.
Yeah.
Can you get a decent feud with the Big Show nowadays to push you to the next level? No. The recent one with Reigns and Big Show stank.
It did. Let's be honest. Big Show against Reigns, it didn't work. It was a lot of... And, maybe... And it was. I don't even think it was down to those guys. I think it was the way they were booked.
Oh, yeah, terribly.
I mean, come on. When you've got Roman Reigns coming out and giving us fairy tale stories and the Big Show spends, 10 minutes to actually get to the point.
The worst part is, see, just Reigns recently, it's like having up and doing that whole... That snivelling, stuck up,
sucker
attack. It's like, is that just to prove that Reigns can cut a difficult, complicated tongue twister promo? If it carried on in that sudden train, we'll just literally just go and pizza pickled peppers, and even I can't do it. But no, it just him and Show just didn't work.
Yeah,
and like you said, it's that difference between 10 years ago and now.
Yeah.
10 years ago, Big Show hadn't had his 530 heel turns.
He's the man of 1,000 heel
exactly.
turns. Yeah.
Where Big Show was over as a heel. But now it's just like, oh, I'm feuding with the Big Show. That doesn't really count for much.
Yeah.
Oh, Big Show's heel.
I don't
really remember Big Show being face, to be honest.
I don't even think it's that. I think fans now have changed. Like I'll be first to admit it here on the show. I'm more jaded now than I was 10 years ago. It's just the way things are. You know, the way that social media has crept up. It's much easier to know the backstage of what's going on. We don't have to be part of the so-called IWC, and I dislike that term because to me, almost every fan is a part of the IWC because everyone has a phone. Everyone could go onto a dirt sheet very easily. It's much
like the way
easier
you
to get
say, like the IWC. It's like the moment anyone just goes on Facebook and voices an opinion.
Yeah, technically you're part of the IWC at that point. So, yeah, I think that whole term is. I think that term needs to be abolished. I don't think it's accurate anymore, in my opinion. I think there's certainly more hardcore fans that would go and listen to podcasts and stuff like this, and you have generic fans like our other halves who would watch it and not give a rat's ass about what happens afterwards on Facebook.
Oh yeah, like my other halves, like it was just like, oh, I'm happy to go to Mania because it's Mania, like because it's the greatest stage of all.
Yeah,
cool. Would you go to Raw?
Nah. And you know what? Some people. I hate when people do the thing of, well, they're not real fans. Actually, to WWE, they certainly are because they're just going to give them the same amount of money as anyone else.
It.
And they won't.
It doesn't matter
whose
pockets I get it out of.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, we're going to go on a lot of tangents, so we went on one here. Yeah, I do think that they're trying to book him this way. I don't think it'll work. I think they will have to learn that booking him in this fashion just won't work. Yeah. Right? That fans will reject him as this way. And we've always said before, it's very easy. Book him as an ass kicker.
Yeah.
He obviously, regardless of what he's been given, his promos at the moment just suck. So you need to remove them out of the equation.
Are we going to touch on a little bits of Raw?
Yes.
I think he had quite a good little altercation with Lesnar.
Okay, yeah, but we will get to Raw. That's after all that stuff because I've got a little bit on Raw. You also leave a message here about fans being unruly in Philly and said we should be thankful they didn't burn the stadium down. I was like, no, Paul Heyman's inside the stadium, so they wouldn't risk
Philadelphia,
damage.
Like they literally probably would have spent about 50 fans just to go and safely extract him before they burn it down.
Make sure Heyman is safe.
They'd have dug out Heyman and Bubba.
Yeah.
And just make sure they're safe. We can't let them perish with the rest.
Stuff like this are cauldrons, and WWE we said it before on the review. If you do want to catch our review of Royal Rumble, that is on the channel. But they made a massive miscalculation with Bryan's reaction, and you have to feel sorry for all the talent that was just effectively sandbagged after Bryan was eliminated.
Even like DDP's got the fucking brunt of it as well.
Well, no, he came out before though. Bryan was eliminated, isn't it? Just before, I think.
Barely.
Yeah, I think he was okay. I think DDP got his pops. Let's just say that. But look, I look at and I talk a lot of things bad about him, but I do feel bad for Kofi Kingston, who came out literally as Bryan is on the outside, shocked on the outside, just been eliminated. Kofi Kingston's walking up, it's like
New Day.
Yeah, fuck off. New Day, fuck you. That's what they should have said. But there we are. But great questions there, Robert, and you left tons of it there. Thanks for all the feedback. You are awesome. It's Frampton. I don't think we've ever had a comment from this guy before.
It's a new one.
It's a new guy walking into our tavern and into this Let's Talk Wrestling inn that we have. He agrees with our assessment of the Royal Rumble, saying the first half was fantastic, but the second half was terrible. All the way up until
the triple threat, yep.
Yeah. He asks us... Well, no, he means the actual Royal Rumble match. The first half of the Royal Rumble match was okay.
Yeah.
And he asks us to keep up the good work. Don't you worry. We do try very hard to keep up the good work. No matter what people think, I think that everyone, no matter what people think about Roman Reigns, no matter what people think about the match itself and who should have won, I think everyone can agree that WWE fluffed the Rumble. There's just no way of going around it. They did fluff
I think it was a terrible but the WWE's out there to elicit a reaction. Oh, they got a reaction.
I don't think that was the sort of reaction they wanted, personally.
I would agree. Like, if it would actually been to the fact that Bryan fought to stay in the ring, rather than Wyatt just like, Daniel, you're gone.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, I fought harder to stay in a Rumble than Bryan did that night. Jesus.
Oh dear, but it's just something they got to live with now, and I can see that they're making some strides into trying to make sure that they can at least make something of
Save
the
it.
reaction that was done. There's tons of stuff on there, interviews regarding the reaction at the
Yep.
Royal Rumble.
I mean, hell, even as a little saving grace on SmackDown, for the first time in about 7 years, we had a casket match on SmackDown.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it was much of a saving grace considering it was against Kane.
Yeah,
Again.
and we knew who was going to win that match. Well, actually, with the way Brian's been going recently, but still. But yeah, thank you for the comment here. We hope that you leave plenty more as things go on, and we'll be happy to answer them. However, Thomas Miller, who has been with us right from the very beginning, and we do appreciate the support, leaves a great comment this week that I was thinking of talking about before he left it. So I think great minds think alike here.
Right.
He says that with Raw, and you just said this at the start of the podcast, so even more great minds think alike. Here you go. He says that with Raw being cancelled, WWE showing the Royal Rumble main event and the Royal Rumble match itself for free. Saying that if they had spent money on the Rumble and then it gets shown for free the next day, that you'd be pissed, and so would I. Realistically, technically, you have paid for it because you paid for the network. If you paid for the network for the pay-per-views, you got gypped this month. There's no way of getting around it.
The way I see it, from the way I'm viewing my subscription to the network, I'm paying for their back catalogue. Pay-per-views are a plus.
Yeah, be realistic. But some people may have bought it. Maybe some people didn't buy the network, but they purchased it, through the pay-per-view system that was originally there, and now they're out of loads of pocket. They watch Raw the next day.
For me in the UK, that'd be about £6 more than the network subscription.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times you hear JBL saying it's $9.99 a month when what's a pay-per-view apparently like $55?
Yeah. Over there, which that to me sounds bonkers to me. And you know what makes this even worse is that they showed arguably the only two really matches that you want to watch on the show. I thought the rest of them was incredibly missable. Yeah, you got the fantastic main event, and they showed that, and then they got the Royal Rumble, which half and half. Everyone knows our views on that at this point. And you know what? Before I give my final verdict on what they should have done, and I've got some ideas of what I don't think they should have aired this personally.
No,
I think it's dodgy. I think it really is. And it would have made some people on the network feel like, why the hell am I paying for this at some point?
Yeah.
WWE, let's defend them a little bit here. Obviously, they were pushed into a hard situation. The Blizzard had caught them at a moment where, it was only a couple of, half a day before the show was supposed to air.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're told, that ain't happening.
Yeah, suddenly we're putting out a travel ban.
Yeah.
Shit.
And suddenly your show is effectively cancelled. And they've got essentially a number of hours to creatively come up with a show.
Yeah.
So you've got to give them at least some props for at least giving something to us. What's going on with you right now?
Oh, I just suddenly realised. You know what they could have done?
What?
Do you remember years ago the arena match?
Oh yeah.
Oh, if only they had a feud where they could justify something like that. It's like, well, we've still paid for the arena.
Get someone just to fight in WWE headquarters or something,
Oh,
that Brock Lesnar trash Triple H's
office
thing.
again.
Office again. We'll make Triple H's office like the new announce table that anyone that has a fight there, it always gets trashed.
That's it.
I'm sure he won't be happy with that, but so yeah, you have to give them some props here. Obviously, they were pushed into a corner, and you have to give them props for at least coming out with something for 3 hours.
That fucking JBL weather report was just, it's cold, and I'm done now.
So they didn't have a lot of time. But however, I still think that they should have shown some of the really unique and exclusive content that maybe they've got on the network. Some of the original stuff. Maybe stuff that maybe isn't there. Maybe showcase some of the best matches of 2014. They could have made it a recap of the last year.
Yeah.
Look at all the matches that they could have shown.
We're not too far out of 2014.
Yeah.
Just stick countdown, like WWE Countdown Top 10 or whatever it is.
For instance, what they could have done is
Put on My Name is Paul Heyman.
Oh, yeah, he could do that, yeah. Plugging that like a motherfucker right now. But, some of the great matches, there were a lot of good matches last year. But the way they could have...
NXT.
Yeah, just NXT. I'm struggling to come out with the words here, but I don't think they should have shown Royal Rumble. And some people may think, well, you thought they didn't show Royal Rumble, so why do you think they should show stuff from 2014? I'd
Because
argue.
you've already seen it.
Yeah, like the Rumble was just the night before. That was the big thing.
Yeah, I think that was the big kick in the teeth. It was like when you weren't even 24 hours removed, and already it was on for free.
Yeah.
It's not like further down the line they put like a highlight or anything like that. Because you know full well that leading up to Mania, you're going to get highlight reels.
Yeah.
From both of those matches anyway.
Yeah.
To defend Brock Lesnar, the undefeatable champion.
Yeah.
And Reigns, who overcome the odds of the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, his coming of age sort of story, sort of thing.
You'll see it anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think they should have aired it. Because it's just like, oh, all right. I fast forwarded the whole thing. It's like, we're going to show you the triple threat match. I love the triple threat match, but it's ruined for me because I know the result.
Yeah.
It's like skip. It's like one thing. Because I've mentioned to you, I'm watching SummerSlam 2002 again. It's been so long. I don't remember the result.
Yeah, that's
so I'm watching it brand new, essentially again.
Yeah, like the only two matches I know are the two main events, but I still want to watch them anyway.
Yeah, but that's it. It's like it opens up with Rey Mysterio and Kurt Angle. I'm just like, I don't even remember who won this.
Yeah. But the fact is that
I've already forgotten.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle.
There you go. You just gave him a spoiler of something that happened 13 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the end of the day. I do think it was a mistake. I think they've got plenty of content, and it was older content they could have used off the network to plug this. But at the same, I still think it sets a dangerous precedence. And I'm sure there's a few people watching this who could have flipped over onto their pay-per-view channel because it gives you like the pay-per-view on like a loop for like 24 hours, wondering. Why the fuck did I pay for that when it's here now for free?
When the two matches that make the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Funny enough, the Royal Rumble itself, and as we were building it up before the event, the true main event.
Yeah.
Like fuck, I couldn't give a shit about the Rumble match because I knew Reigns was going to win it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like the triple threat match was like Rollins is the wild card. Now I can't call it.
Yeah.
And it's just like what will happen. That's pretty much what I watched Royal Rumble for.
Yeah. Like, I tell you what they could have done. Ideally, so here's what I would have done. Before showing the interviews with each of the people that were involved, I would have shown the matches that they would have best had last year. So, for instance, with Roman Reigns, you could have one. If you want to show him being great on his own, you could show him the match he had against Orton at SummerSlam, which he won.
Yes.
That shows him being strong. You want to show Brock Lesnar, show him his match at SummerSlam where he decimated Cena for the title.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan, why not show him his match against Triple H? Not the main event if you want to.
No, I'd say Triple H. Yeah. I think that was the stronger match.
Yeah. You could show that
Mania.
Yeah. So a lot of little matches like that would have paid people. I would have gladly have watched all those matches.
Yeah. Exactly.
But
I'm trying to think of a good one for Rollins.
Maybe have the match where he won the Money in the Bank briefcase. He's got it in his hand.
Put the Money in the Bank match.
It's relevant,
Yep.
Fair enough. But they decided not to go in that route. And to a little bit, I do want to defend them. But at the end of the day, now that sets a dangerous precedent. And I think that is anti-consumer. And that's an issue there.
That's bad for business.
Yes. Anyway, moving on. Fistful of Woolongs. That is the names of the people that comment on our show fucking rock. This is no different. And he says there that we shouldn't worry about the Ascension. The tag division is small and it's about to get even smaller. But I'd argue that's the reason why we do worry, right? Isn't it? We want the tag division to be bigger. We want the Ascension to succeed. We want them to be having kick-ass matches every single week. But I kind of agree with you here. Hopefully here the Ascension will rise up. But when you've got the likes of the Dust Brothers who look like they're breaking up, and the tag division pool is very lacking, and you look at NXT as well, and their tag division is exactly the same. Yeah, it is cause for concern for the tag team division, and unfortunately that does make us worry. You also did allude here to the Dust Brothers seemingly breaking up as a team, and I know it's a shame, but I mean, look at this from Goldust, right? In terms of him, he's been wrestling on the show now constantly, week after week, for almost over a year.
Yep.
He's been doing fantastic, but there's always going to be a time where Father Time knocks on his shoulder and says, "Look, you can't cheat me forever, Goldust.
You're better than you used to be, but it has been a while."
Yeah, come on. You have to eventually call it a day. And what a way to call it a day, at least for this thing. Maybe I'm not going to say this is Goldust's last stint because it just keeps coming back.
Yeah.
But what a great way for this to be the end of his stint if he has a rivalry with his brother, with Stardust, and put Stardust over.
Yeah.
He always wanted that match at WrestleMania. I don't think it will happen at WrestleMania, but he always wanted that match against his brother. You know, he was lobbying it for ages, if you remember, before he returned.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
Was there that whole Rhodes Brother Mania match?
yeah, that's what he wanted for ages,
Yeah.
and he didn't get that. But I mean, he came back anyway. And he's been doing great.
But now, maybe we'll get it.
Yeah, that's it. But you know what, Goldust, you know, if he does get phased out, and I do believe that will eventually happen, he may just start wrestling less. He might not be involved that much, and he probably will be the one who maybe goes heel against Stardust. I think more likely of the two. I don't know. Stardust is a bit of a weird character.
Yeah, he's an odd one.
Yeah,
because it's like they're heel. I get that because obviously they they blindsided the Usos and all things like that. But I think Goldust is the one. You just look at Goldust to see whether they're a face or a heel team, and then you just got Stardust being Stardust.
Yeah, that's it.
He'll hiss in the face just because he's weird.
Yeah, he can be face doing that. It won't be an issue. It's just a matter of WWE presenting him in that fashion.
Yeah, which lays in the hands of Goldust.
Yeah, Goldust can do that for him. Goldust can do the turn. He's good enough to do that. Arguably, he is better than Cody Rhodes to be able to do that because of his experience. He knows the crowd. However, yeah, it is a shame.
I mean, hell, you've got to have some sort of talent to get over as Goldust in the original days.
I was watching some of the old Royal Rumbles and some of the stuff he wore.
Well, I see it. It's like SummerSlam 02. It's him and Booker against the Un-Americans.
Oh, God.
And it's just like...
No, I watch it like...
How was he ever over?
Yeah, how did he manage
Jesus.
to do that? Awesome stuff. You also responded to our next comment in quite a hilarious fashion, and you understand why I said that, and I tip my hat to you. Now, here we go. Now, Matt, I'd like to take control of this here. I'm going to explain. We, as a rule, do not respond to negative comments. We respond to positive criticism of our show. We have done before.
Yep.
And to really great rebuttals. There was one who did a very well-constructed rebuttal of the Bellas in ring talent.
Yes.
We took that well on board. We thought it was a fantastic comment.
We discussed the length.
Yes, of course. I thought it was one of the best comments we've had on this show. However, here, I will respond to a negative comment on our show. We don't get many, but I will respond to this one because it was hilarious. Okay? So I decided to add it in. Zachary Boblet says, "Dear dummies in America." There's no comment, so he's basically calling us dummies in America. I'm sure that's not what he meant.
Instantly wrong.
We have the right to show our displeasure when we don't like something. You do, but you don't have the right to block talent leaving the arena at the Rumble. That's obstruction. That's actually against the law. So you don't have the right to do that. No one was arrested from everything I can see, so no illegal activity occurred. You obviously didn't hear the fan reports that I did in terms of people being dicks. It doesn't mean that, so no one was arrested, so no illegal activity occurred. Illegal activity can occur and no one gets arrested. That happens every day. If a old woman gets her purse stolen and the guy runs away and doesn't get arrested, does that make his act legal? No.
It's still a crime. He just got away with it.
Yeah. Here we go. Here's the golden thing. This is what makes it brilliant. And I don't know if you've seen this, Matt. Here we go.
Searching it now.
I'll tell you. If the English weren't so damn docile, they wouldn't have lost to America in the Revolutionary War. Maybe they would have needed America to come to their aid in World War II. And maybe you wouldn't have the shitty British Bulldog as your best wrestler. Now, here I go. I understand. I understand where you're coming from here, Zachary. But it seems like you're lost. This is a professional wrestling podcast. The political podcast is the next floor down. You must have missed it on the way here.
Yeah.
We talk about professional wrestling here. All that stuff about people saving stuff in wars really has nothing really to do with us, I'm afraid.
No.
So if you go find a political podcast, then maybe they'll give you a bit more time to talk about that. But we won't.
It's full A, Dummies in America.
Yeah.
I don't know whether is that aimed at us?
Is
that aimed at us?
I don't think it was supposed to be Dear Dummies, in America we have the right to, but it wasn't done.
Okay, yeah, cool.
I could very easily get annoyed at this. I don't. I find it hilarious, hence why I wanted to reference it here. And I could blast a country, the Americans, which honestly I don't have a problem with. We've got plenty of American fans. I like America. I've got no issue with them.
I've been to America a few times.
We podcast on an American show every single week. I have no issue with American fans. I think they have a great country and I respect them to death, right? And instead, I will repeat and remind to people who comment our show in this fashion, it will only make us laugh. And if it gets too offensive, as in you start throwing obscenities and start insulting people, we will ban you. It's very easy for me to do so, and I will ban you outright.
I must quickly say one thing.
Go on.
Do you remember many a year ago? Because I'm just thinking, we lost to America in the Revolutionary War. Well, no, some English people lost to some English people. That's what happened there. But because they just like.
Matt, the political podcast is downstairs.
No.
If you want to go down there and argue...
But,
yeah.
Do you remember, many a year ago, we are back in school. We are playing Halo 3. An American person. If you want to speak to me, you need to speak American. And I fucking exploded. It's like, dude, you speak English.
Yeah.
No, I speak American. No, you speak English and you fucked it.
Yeah.
It's just like, so like, fair enough. You can be patriotic to your country. So I can be a monarchist. I'm quite proud of being a Brit.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I really don't care when it gets crammed in my throat.
Yeah. But the fact is, like I said, I don't even have an issue with Americans. I never have.
Not
And it's
at all.
not like, I'm going to be like, oh, you lost this war. This isn't the show to talk about that. I just found this quite funny. It was completely off the mark. But as I said, I will remind people, listen, I'm not going to ban this comment because it wasn't that offensive.
It's not offensive.
I found it hilarious, to be honest. But if people start saying like very negative, this is just a warning to people. If you start saying very negative stuff and start using expletives and start attacking us and not really giving any positive feedback, we'll ban you. I have no issue with banning you.
There's a lovely little button that YouTube decided to install.
Yeah. You can, honestly, I don't have time. Me and Matt, we don't do this show to have that aired at us.
No.
We're more than happy for people to call us out on facts we've got wrong, to disagree with our statements.
In fact, someone called me out because I said that it was the wrong ring announcer that used to break his voice every time he announced the Edge.
Yeah, that's not right. We didn't have an issue with that.
I'll take it on the chin.
Yeah.
My bad. There's been quite a few ring announcers since I started watching wrestling.
Yeah. I would state that if you want to do more comments like this, that are hilarious, is this to crack on. We would love to review. I know our fans comment each week would have an absolute...
I noticed one of our fans got involved.
Yeah.
Well, we'll leave you to it.
We'll leave you to it, yeah. So that's our fan feedback of the week. Wow, that is a lengthy one that we did. I think it was roughly an hour's worth or something, close to that, 45 minutes.
I know we said we'll do fail, but I was like, do we have time for the fail?
We always have time for the fail of the week. It's the fail of the week, man. It's your favourite segment, okay? Okay, here we go. And I said that this led to someone almost having their arm amputated. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, who's next to be on the amputation table? Apparently, Goldberg was almost next to be on the amputation table. So here we go. I'll set the scene for you here, Matt. Goldberg has lost the World Heavyweight Championship to a reformed NWO. And I remind you, apparently WCW just didn't want to let go of NWO. So even when they didn't have the original guys, they just reformed it anyway.
This is kind of referring to when we were talking about the Raw reunion, when there's X-Pac coming out with the NWO. It's like you're like a 6th generation NWO guy. By Sean, put the shirt down.
Yeah. So yeah, the whole NWO thing. I mean, that whole thing was a laugh. But so anyway, he's pissed off. He's lost the championship. He's not doing a John Cena coming out. Oh, I'm fine. I'm happy.
It'll make me fight stronger than ever.
Oh God, bully.
Bully.
No, it's Goldberg. He's pissed off that he's lost the belt. So when an arriving limo comes, preferably what we're supposed to believe, with NWO members inside, he starts bashing the windows, badass, right? He's knocking the windows out. Now, to be able to get through the windows, a lot of people, there's conflicting reports. People say he had a lead pipe. People say he had a piece of a lead pipe, roughly on his hands, and that what he used to bash through, and he had taped up hands.
Yep.
Regardless of what he had on him, he busted the first two. Fair play to the guy. He got, I think, through the third one after a few punches.
Yeah.
Gave a little bit of resistance. And then the fourth...
Solid.
The fourth became the Spanish announce table, okay? It just decided, I don't want to give up this time. I'm just going to...
I won't break.
Yeah, Randy Orton doing RKO on a Spanish announce table, which doesn't work for some reason.
Yeah.
And the same thing was this here. And so, he's punching it. It's not working. So he decides, well, I can't let this not smash out. I need to be able to do this. So unfortunately, he decides the only way I can do this is essentially by forearming the window and smashing it in that fashion.
Yeah.
Which, Matt, you think is a bit of a stupid idea.
Yeah, I don't get that.
And what would happen if your arm is to go, fleshy area of your arm goes into shards of glass?
Could that be lacerations?
Yeah, exactly.
Quite a lot of blood, I'd imagine.
Yes, he lost a fucking ton of blood. He almost lost his arm.
Yep.
And he was told at the hospital when he was rushed there after this segment that he had a centimetre more would have just... That's it.
Lost it. Just
That's
like,
it.
nope.
Done.
From the elbow down, nothing.
It was a stupid spot. And obviously, they did not. Goldberg blames WCW for this spot, though I'm sure that the people there were thinking, "Oh, it's just you didn't punch it hard enough to them or whatever."
Yeah.
Whatever, regardless, WCW had a reputation at that point for booking shitty stuff, and this is just another one of it. And sometimes putting their stars in a position of safety, and that's one of the big no-nos. That I'm glad wrestling doesn't do anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times did we have to see stuff like this, stuff even worse like this? And not in WCW, but in WWE with the Owen Hart incident, stuff like this happening. And I know, that's all a different argument. Oh, it was down to the manufacturers of doing it. It was still a dangerous spot. You're still being left from the air. And I'm glad, to a point, that stuff like that doesn't really happen that much anymore.
If it does, there's a lot of scrutiny for it.
Yeah,
we're
we're
going to do it. Like, risk assess the shit out of everything.
Yeah. People may wonder, they're too safe for their own good. I'd argue that I'd much rather them being safe than
see another
wrestler
die.
dead. Yeah. No price is worth a wrestler's life. No price is worth anyone's life. Okay, that's just the bottom line. But Goldberg here, and I know to this day, he must count his lucky stars that he didn't balls this up any further.
Or just hate himself again. He was getting a little bit too carried away.
Yeah, he was getting very aggressive with it. But you can catch it now. It's very easy to find. You can find a video
on the WWE Network.
I don't think it's on the network. I found it on YouTube, personally. But
it must be. It's on WCW.
It must be somewhere. I just don't know where it is on there. But yeah, you can find it very easy. Even if you don't have that much, just YouTube it. You can find it and punching it. And at first you think, oh, well, there's not really much great. You can see that he's checking something, and then the camera very quickly goes away. But yeah, apparently from Goldberg himself, there was a cascade of blood coming out of him at that point. So yeah, fail of the week. Goldberg almost loses his arm. That is from the WCW vaults, which still, you may be thinking, guys, you've done this show a long time now. You can't really be having more fails of the week from WCW. We haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this company.
WCW ruins everything. It's a slogan many a person will say, and it's a one that you could live by.
It is. But that's just the way WCW was back then. Everyone knows it now. You can go revisit all that stuff on the network. It's not hard to find. But that's just the way the company was run back then. They were so desperate for ratings. But still, we've got plenty more from them. Who knows? Maybe they used Goldberg's blood as Vampiro's falling blood that apparently doesn't decapitate people or whatever.
Does it work? Yeah!
And proves that Sting doesn't shower, of course. That's the other thing. Raw review. Not really much of a Raw review this week, as we noticed before. Raw this week was cancelled due to a snowstorm in Boston. This led to WWE staying on air. As they said, the show must go on. It wasn't
even just Boston. It was like everywhere.
It was a large.
It was like the whole East Coast.
Well, we were having snow here recently.
Yeah.
So, I know, obviously not to the point that they had it.
Oh, not even close. It's like, it's not even an inch, let alone 3 foot.
Yeah. I mean, they showed us plenty of shots of them being outside in the street, and to be honest,
JBL on the roof.
Yeah, just freezing out there.
Just leaving them up there.
So we've already spoken a lot about this Raw event. Essentially, the 3 hours were taken up by the 2 hours of Raw Rumble that were actually interesting, at least. The other part of it were taken up with interviews with Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, and then Roman Reigns with Brock Lesnar. Yeah. And Brock Lesnar had his own one as well.
I didn't watch the Bryan one, actually. Yeah.
There wasn't that much there.
It was probably, I'm so sorry I didn't succeed for everyone. I'm going to try so hard. You've backed me up for so long.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's saying, well, he doesn't whine. He just says what you say there. Unfortunately, I felt with Rollins, Bryan's, and Roman Reigns, I think Brock Lesnar really was the only one that kind of felt a little bit more natural because of Paul Heyman. But I think they sounded a little bit too scripted. And again, you could defend them saying, well, to be honest, guys, they didn't have that long to learn.
2 hours, yeah.
To be honest.
It's fair enough.
And WWE was scrambling.
Why script it? Just literally like, you've been your character for long enough. You know what sort of things you need to say and put them to the test. Like, you've got some people, like, you have Heyman, who doesn't have a script. Just like, these are your bullet points.
Yeah.
You've got 5 minutes, go.
Yeah.
Why not allow things like that for someone like Rollins, who could deliver a pretty strong promo, I'd imagine,
I don't know.
if given free reign?
Well, I don't know. I think possibly part of the reasons why the WWE don't do that is they're too afraid that it would lead to awkward. Yeah, they want to control everything. They want to micromanage everything.
Yeah.
That's the way they want to do things now. It's been well documented. But another issue here is that because WWE was scrambling just to get everything working, to get this show
Apparently
up.
Ambrose turned up.
Yeah, Ambrose did turn up. He had a section there as well. The audio quality of some of their interviews were a bit off. In fact, Roman Reigns'
one that I could hear a lot of breathing.
Yeah,
and I think Brock's was like too close to it, so like it was.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus. Brock's got to cut down the fags.
I remember Reigns' one being a lot like there was a lot of buzzing, and for us knowing from a wrestling podcast, for instance, we had issues getting our audio to work for this episode.
Yep.
And part of the reason why it sounds a bit different now is because we tried to get out that audio buzz, and we know I hate it when I listen to podcasts and they have it, so I don't want it on my podcast.
I'm not even a fan of like listening to ones on the phone.
Yeah, oh yeah, I hate phone.
That's what I really hated, because the one I was really excited for like a phone one.
Yeah.
But it was Steve Austin with Bray Wyatt. I was like, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It's on a mobile phone, and Bray Wyatt's out in the middle of like Louisiana or something with shit cell reception.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
I know. Apparently, I heard it was really good, and I did.
Oh, it was really good.
I listened to a good chunk of it, but afterwards I was like, this is too.
But the
taxing.
quality,
yeah, it was too taxing.
So put it on in the background rather than I have to focus to hear this.
Yeah. If people are going to ask me, and like I said, we're not going to dwindle on Raw too much. We've got NXT to review, and we've already been recording for a while anyway.
Yeah.
Is that if you want to go watch, if you say, come on guys, the bottom line is, as you say each week, is this Raw worth watching? And I would state, no. If you watch Raw Rumble, it is not worth watching. It is worth skipping.
I still think I think the only key thing is I actually really enjoyed the Heyman Lesnar Reigns bit.
Yeah, the bit to end out the show. Yeah, I
think that was strong, and it was actually a really good bit to actually make Reigns look strong. I want you to go in there and make Reigns look strong, but it was true, and it did, because it was. I just liked the back and forth that they had, especially with Heyman, just like, I know your family. I've managed your family.
That was excellent.
I respect your family, and I respect you.
Yeah.
And it's just like Lesnar, just like, I don't respect you.
Yeah, I don't give a shit what you are. Yeah.
It's like, but you're gonna. I was just like, oh, I love that.
Yeah. I tell you what, I thought Heyman, by the way, stole the show in terms of promo work.
What a surprise!
Yeah. It's like we all know. Hey, come on, you're going to be beaming over Heyman this week, aren't you? Come on, let's just say it.
If I wasn't a big enough fan of him already.
Yeah. But yeah, they spoke. Reigns responded to the negative reaction he had, basically stating fans have the right to do whatever they like. Essentially, it's the pivotal response that a face can do. There's nothing like, I'm going to win them over or anything like that. You just taking a very
to be perfectly honest, it was the standard Cena response.
It was, to be honest.
I don't care as long as they're having a good time.
Yeah, unfortunately, and that's straight out the Cena.
Well, they weren't having a good time. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, whether they boo Cena because they don't like Cena, they booed you because they don't like you and they don't like what happened.
Yeah, that's it.
Probably more the latter.
Yeah. There isn't much to talk about with the show. I mean, to be honest, a lot of the interviews, if you're that desperate to catch them, I just argue that 3 hours to get a couple of interviews.
YouTube. They're all on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because they were only about 3-4 minutes long.
And come on, they're going to get spliced up and put in video packages the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, not really that bad of a
Easy as that.
So, Raw review, we'll give it a thumbs down, but at the end of the day, I will defend WWE with this.
I won't rate it. It's just that.
I agree with you. Yeah.
It wasn't Raw.
I can't.
That's the thing. Like, how was Raw? I don't know. It's, as far as I see it, there wasn't a Raw this week.
To agree, I agree with you. It's hard.
Every Wednesday, like, you get Michael Cole having an interview with someone. It's usually Triple H a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But it's just like a Wednesday. He always has like a Wednesday interview filmed at Stanford, on WWE.com.
Yeah.
But that's essentially what it was. That was just like the best of this week of the Michael Cole show. Just talking with people.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, obviously, Royal Rumble.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I don't think really we can give it a rating. To some degree, I give WWE kudos for at least giving us something.
Yeah.
But as we said, I obviously answered that question before in terms of I don't agree with the content they decided to use.
Yeah.
But still, you have to give them some props for at least doing something. I guarantee you, a majority of shows that do a weekly show each week probably wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to give them some props. NXT review, here we go. We are going to review every segment of NXT this week, and we are literally about an hour off watching it. We literally watched NXT, we recorded this show.
Yep.
So it's fresh in our minds, and we have plenty of stuff to talk about. And this was a good show by NXT, as it usually is.
Yeah. To be honest, I kind of just fear the day where I watched NXT the other night. I wasn't impressed. I can't imagine a day where those words will ever leave my mouth.
And even they do, they'll just be like, but it'll be better next week. You'll be better next week.
Definitely. But I can't think, just off the top of my head, I just can't think of a single bad episode of NXT that I watched.
So yeah, we're going to review every segment of NXT. We are hot on the road to the next takeover event.
Yeah, we are
building up to that as well.
Which is my birthday.
On your birthday. And it's already shaping up to be. Say it for me. A
dinger
of a show. It is shaping up to be one hell of a humdinger. This week featured a few interesting matches and a continuation of the NXT number one contendership title tournament.
Yep. Some great development in the stories as well.
Yes, I like the way they booked that. And next week features Hideo Itami against Finn Balor 1-on-1 to continue who goes on from there. Mouth watering. Can we say that? That's going to be you say it this time. Humdinger on the show. And a little note here about commentary. Alex Riley, who has been in a little bit of controversy over the last week. You said to me, I didn't catch this, but you said to me he's pissed, essentially. Yeah. That he wants to go from the company.
Because he apparently had a spot in the Rumble, but they were like, no.
Yeah. To be honest, it would have been a bit odd, because he's been such a...
Well, he hasn't been an in-ring talent in so long.
Yeah.
But I think it's now hit that point where it's just like he's the analyst.
Yeah.
The only problem, he's like Matt Striker.
A bit too much.
It's just like you had a short career that was pretty forgetful.
Yeah.
And now you're the professional.
Yeah.
You're the go-to guy for all the information. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you ever hold a title?
Or he's saying stuff like, this is the way you need to win a match. It's like, you won one match against The Miz.
That's it. And then it failed for you.
Yeah, exactly. Alex Riley this week, and I don't want to pour more bad news on the guy in regards to what's going on. I thought his commentary was bad. Let's just say that. I thought Jason Albert was much better.
Yeah.
Personally, I thought at least when he says the same sort of stuff, he's had a much lengthier and arguably successful
more successful, just over the course of time, what he's accomplished, where he's wrestled as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a much better resume. Yeah. But even regards to that, you take all that away from both guys, I still think Albert was better here than Alex Riley. That's just my opinion. And that may not be the same each week. In fact, I've seen Alex Riley some weeks be pretty good. This week I thought he was a little bit unsufferable, and the two butted heads a little bit on commentary.
Yeah.
However, the show opens up with Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy against the Lucha Dragons for the NXT Tag Championships. I love matches starting shows. I know you didn't know that, Matt. You didn't know that, did you?
I was not aware.
You were not aware. I don't know if anyone's heard.
I thought you wanted a 20-minute promo.
I know. Oh, it's not a very well known thing.
Wrong.
It's not very well known for me.
I don't know you at all.
So Blake and Murphy are the new tag team in town. I know you're not too keen on their presentation, but it's
not their presentation. I just don't like their entrance music.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I don't like it's heavy metal dubstep. I was like, no, it's not.
You take that as offence.
It's a terrible sound. I just hate dubstep, to be fair. But it's just like, just get rid of them. Not them. But
you do
they
like
can
them.
Stay. They're good.
Yeah.
I'll give them the juice. There's talent in Blake and Murphy.
Yeah. Well, the first time I saw them was the match last week that they had against the Vaudevillains.
They've been around before.
They have been around, but this is when I've been watching NXT.
The only problem is NXT, where it's just like they have. I think NXT suffers from a similar problem as WWE.
Go on.
As Raw, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, they have such amount of time, but they have so many more wrestlers to fill that time.
It's called developmental. They need developmental guys coming in.
I know, yeah. But it's just like, so NXT with the hour, and for the past 3 weeks, we've seen the Lucha Dragons 3 times. No, 2 of those 3.
Yeah.
Because last week they weren't around.
Yeah.
We've seen Sami Zayn 3 of those weeks. Now, I get he's the champion.
Yeah.
But we've seen Adrian Neville across those 3.
Yeah.
Former champion, I get it, and they had their title rematch, but now Adrian Neville's in on this number 1 contender tournament. So I think some people get left behind.
Yeah.
Like watching the WWE 24, they mentioned, oh, look at these NXT divas who are helping out with Triple H's entrance. And I was like, that's fucking Alexa Bliss.
Where is she now? Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I saw her in the ring.
Yeah. And they're bringing up new people there.
No. I'm about to say, just said those words have just left my mouth. She was on NXT a week before last.
But still, not regularly.
Yeah. And now they want to bring Emma back.
Yeah, there you go, where she fits in. But their match with the 4 villains, I was mildly impressed with them. I honestly didn't think that they had a chance of winning the belts. I thought maybe they might get have a good account of themselves, enough for a rematch, and then they might win the belts.
Yeah.
The Lucha Dragons, let's talk a little bit about them, especially Kalisto. I think out of the 2, he's got the brighter future. I think he's got more stuff to him.
I think the gimmick of Sin Cara is already tainted.
It's already damaged. It's got permanent damage to Sin Cara. Let's just get
and for anyone for people who only watch Raw, and people who don't watch NXT are aware of what Sin Cara has been in the past, not what it has now become.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they didn't give him much of a showing when it came to his IC bout with Barrett.
Yeah, he just got dealt with. I think that's probably the best word for it. But yeah, Kalisto, and you know what? Every single time I see him in the ring, he looks better than Sin Cara, right?
Yeah.
There's no getting around that. But the only thing that I say for Kalisto that looks good on him is that currently there isn't anyone on the main roster that can do what he does in terms of what he gives to a show, right?
He's new Mysterio.
You could book him that way, essentially. I know it won't work. It probably won't work, but at very least...
Hell, go back to... Do you remember when they did the tag team of Mysterio and Sin Cara?
Yeah.
They go back with that. If they hadn't already used it, they could have saved that for Kalisto.
They need some tag teams.
And then it would literally been of just like the mirror image. You could have literally have just had Kalisto just going out and doing everything that Ray does.
Yeah. Well, they need to add to that tag team roster on the show. So maybe that'll be something for them. But yeah, I think Kalisto definitely to the brighter star out of the 2. However, I did have an inkling that these guys might win the belts because I recently, as you say, saw Sin Cara on the main roster and he didn't come out with his NXT title. Now, I know normally that's because of the face that normally NXT talent, if they did have a belt, don't come onto the main roster.
Charlotte didn't. Like when she...
I don't think she did. I'm pretty sure she did.
No, I don't think Charlotte brought her belts out.
I'm not sure. But I still had a slight thing. They never referenced him as being the champion or anything along those lines. But most of the time, they very least referenced
they mentioned
Charlotte.
The Ascension a lot being former NXT champion.
Exactly, yeah. So it's not...
Charlotte, when she came out, she is the current NXT Women's Champion.
So there was a lot of something, and obviously, my initial... Not fears, but initial assessment of it was correct because Murphy and Blake outsmart the Dragons here and they win. They become the new NXT Tag Team Champions. And you think, wow, that lengthy run that the Ascension had, they get beaten by Lucha Dragons. Lucha Dragons didn't even have a month and they were dealt with. Yeah. It doesn't look great on them. But they do the distraction pin. It isn't the roll-up pin, so it is not the most devastating move in wrestling.
It's the second most devastating.
Maybe.
The court out.
Yeah. But, it was pretty much a much more intimate roll-up, shall we say.
Like almost like a 69 in the ring.
I would argue, right, that maybe he doesn't know how to schoolboy pin yet because he hasn't been called up to the main roster. That's your final lesson in NXT. When you're called up to the main roster, the final lesson... They bring out Triple H and he says, "This is my gift to you," and he does a roll-up pin, and then you're like, "Wow, Jesus Christ, that's too powerful."
Now go,
roll-up pin.
Take it to the main roster.
You can only do it when someone is distracted.
Win your belts.
That's it. So the only thing I had to say, great for these guys and awesome for them, whatever. I don't think they're ready for it personally, even as a team. I don't think they're that established, but. So you think, okay, maybe the Lucha Dragons will wrestle them back for the tag team belts. What does this mean for the tag team division NXT? It is incredibly shallow.
Yeah.
And especially when they need a lot of these teams to be going up.
Lucha Dragons, Ford Villains, Murphy Blake.
Yeah.
Murphy Blake?
Murphy Blake.
Murphy and Blake. There's those two that come out every now and then.
But the fact you can't remember
one
them, that's
looks
an
like
issue.
New Age Shelton Benjamin.
I don't know. But the fact is that if you don't know, that's the issue there, though, isn't it? You know, the fact is that is the shallow pool. Those three teams are really the only teams that are really involved here, and I think that the majority. I think there's a good chance Lucha Dragons might get bumped up earlier than usual. Maybe not to the same degree as the Ascension, or they won't get booked like huge. But they need talent on that main roster.
Booked huge? What? Like the Ascension's been booked?
Yeah,
huge?
I know what you mean. But it does leave one hell of a shallow pool, and hopefully here they can have another match back with these guys and make it a little bit more spectacular. It was a good match. It just wasn't the best on the show by far, or the best we've seen in the tag division by far. Backstage, Charlotte is pissed at Bayley for doing the belly to Bayley suplex on her last week. She says if Bayley does it again, she will get destroyed
and won't make it to the triple threat.
Bayley starts going, "Oh, actually, I'm sorry," and then suddenly she looks and says, "Actually, no, I'm not sorry." She's seen how Sami Zayn changed his fortunes by getting more serious, and they try and say, regardless, they have a tag team match, they have to work together. Charlotte says that they will, but if Bayley tries it again, then as you say that, she won't make it to the title match at the show. I love the way on NXT, every woman strives to be the NXT Women's Champion. It is their ultimate ambition. That they're not thinking, oh, well, actually, maybe I want to be on Total Divas.
As long as I'm just here, I don't care.
Yeah. Or if I'm, dancing here and there and being entertaining. All of them want to be champion. It doesn't matter if you're, Charlotte. All she is about she's the champion. All she lives and breathes is being the champion.
Yeah.
If you're Bayley, who's lost a few chances before, it doesn't matter. You're still trying to be the champion.
Yeah,
Sasha Banks wants to be the champion. You look at Becky Lynch with this whole thing. She hasn't really been involved in the title picture. She wants to be champion.
Yeah, exactly.
That's her ultimate goal in this company, to be champion. I love the fact that I've said that before, that needs to be in the main roster. I want to hear more girls on the main roster come out and have promos and say, I am going to be champion. That's what I'm here to do. That's what I came here to do.
That's it. I'm not here to be on Total Divas.
Yeah, I'm here to be the Divas champion. I'm here to be the best in this division.
That's it.
And too many times have I heard before, oh, I hope all these girls do well and we're all great friends. And no.
No.
Now I will come in for the title. This is
where they just messed up with Paige. They literally, I was wondering, we kept saying, we'll just have Paige just come out and just go, I don't care for any of the other girls.
Yeah.
I'm here for that belt.
Yeah. That's essentially it. And that's all she has to go for. But they fluffed it with that.
And now she's a Total Diva.
Yeah. I love Bayley's gradual evolution from good girl, just too good to title contender, serious title contender. She's still the same character. Here's the thing, right? She's still the same character,
just with a little mean streak in it.
But it's evolved into the fact now that her character, it's the same thing. She's still the hug life. She still likes to hug people. She's still all upbeat and everything like that.
Yeah, still gives out the headband.
But it's changed to the fact that it's the gradual progression of her character.
Yeah.
And it's almost the same for Charlotte. She's champion. She's not so much heel face, but being the champion, and she's grown into the role of being a champion. She conducts herself like so. And I love the way that they are changing and they're adding more new stuff to the character. They've got pasts. They're tweaking it here and there, making reference to the fact they have changed. And so that's character progression at its basis form. And one of the things I will state about the main roster here is that the fact is that that on the main roster isn't the case. How many times do we say with Ambrose and Rollins that they needed character progression, they needed reasons, they needed ambitions?
Yep.
They have that here.
Yeah.
Easy. Not that hard, is it? You just have to book it.
Why do you want to do it? Because why not?
Yeah. Like that's not good enough.
Explain it.
That's not good enough. That's literally the reason why the whole Ambrose Wyatt thing. Because we're going to do it. Well, these girls have got a reason. They want to be the champion.
Yeah.
Do they have character progression? Well, yeah, because Bayley maybe didn't have that mean streak in her to become the champion.
She didn't, exactly.
Now she might have that. Charlotte is looking more and more like the champion, the defending, almost like legend status in NXT.
What was Charlotte? 'Cause it's just like, as the champion, it's just like, she's not necessarily in that heel face anymore. She's just like, she's the main problem she has with Sasha Banks is the fact that Sasha Banks kept beating the shit out of Bayley in such underhanded ways, and it's like, that's why Charlotte came to help.
And then eventually she became,
like, you're dicking around with the women's division that I represent.
Yes, that's my division. I own it. I am that division, and I love the way that she conducts herself as if she is that. I love it. I really do. So yeah, I love all the divas on this show. I think that my thoughts on Sasha Banks. Everyone knows my thoughts on Charlotte. I think she's a star. I think she's one of the best women they've got in the company, right? Outright. Not just in the ring, but outside of it as well. But Sasha Banks, I think there's a star in there waiting. They need to nurture it a bit more.
Little spark to
it's
trick it.
Something there, right? There is something there, and the same for Bayley. But I never thought that for Sasha Banks, but now I do. There's something there.
Now she's been put in like a rivalry sort of thing, and it's just like, she has that mean streak. It's like, oh, because she always wants to be the boss. And it's like, I know she was in like a women's tag faction or whatever with Charlotte as the BFFs. But now it's just sort of like, now there's been that betrayal of the BFFs and all things like that. And it's just like, Sasha Banks has really come into her own.
Yeah.
She's great.
As someone who's a leader of our own sort of our pack. Becky Lynch, we'll talk about a little bit about her. Don't know enough about her. She's green. Yeah, too green. I think that's ironic because she's Irish, but I'm sure my wife won't like me hearing that, being so stereotypical. But the fact is, she's in developmental for a reason, and she's new.
Why you go there?
Yeah, I mean, look at Charlotte when she first came in, she was green as goose shit. Look at her now; she's a champion. Yeah. Every course a champion. Becky Lynch could get to that point. She needs time. They will need time.
That's it.
That's the reason why they're there. Adrian Neville against Tyson Kidd. You point out a note to me here.
Yep.
I'll let you say it before I go into
just the thought of Adrian Neville in a Money in the Bank match.
Isn't that good? Yeah.
Especially considering he was in the first ever ladder match on NXT as well. And that was a good ladder match.
The stuff he could do, and he's got the creativity in his head to be able to pull off something like that. But let's talk about this match. Neville against Tyson Kidd. You would expect a good match. NXT often delivers on what you expect of it.
Yep.
You got a good match here. This is
a very good match, yeah.
Between those 4 yellow ropes, sorry, that's a reference to Cesaro fucking up this thing. Neville can do some absolutely crazy stuff, and I think that he can do crazy stuff, but he's not known for that. But he can do some spectacular stuff in the ring that I think will help him on the main roster.
He's got a lot of flair, which I really like. There's that moment where Tyson Kidd was on the outside.
Yeah.
And I know, was he inside? He rolled out, but then Neville sort of jumped and springboarded back into like a kneeling arms out position like he does on his entrance.
Yeah.
I was just sort of like, whatever you throw at me, I can recover.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got some absolutely insane talent, and I just hope that they focus more on that talent and less on, he's a short English guy with a Geordie accent. That's what I hope that, but we know it's Vince. It's Vince, isn't it, guys?
Yeah. And as much as we were fearing it, especially considering my other half was just like, he looks like Barrett's little brother. No. Don't give them ideas.
No. And, there is a slight fear that possibly, let's face it, guys, and I did have to explain this, and it hurts that this is the case, that realistically, we might love Adrian Neville, and we do. We think he's phenomenal.
Is it because we're British as well?
No, I'd say even if he was American, we'd still be awesome.
He's a great talent.
He's a great talent. We respect great talent. We're here. We respect Tyson Kidd. We think he's brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? But Adrian Neville, the fact is that if he comes onto the main roster and people look at him in a different light that we do, in fact, he's a short Geordie English guy who, can do some good
But
stuff.
who
in the ring.
doesn't look like a high flyer? That's another thing
Yeah.
that I like with Neville.
But they might look at him in a different way, and that could be painful. And the way they look at him is the way that they're the people that Vince will listen to. They're the majority, whether or not we like it or not. We're not the majority of fans.
No,
so
I know.
We,
It's just like the generic, just the ones that will just turn up. But it's like the one thing I'm kind of hoping is like you hear all these rumours that Adrian Neville's going to be stuck with like a Mighty Mouse gimmick or some shit. Stick with his current gimmick. You have a new Evan Bourne.
Yeah, except one who won't get caught smoking loads of weed and has, I think, more personality than Evan Bourne ever had.
Definitely. But that's it. Like, since Evan Bourne's left, who's the high flyer?
Who's the one who can do some really... Some of the stuff he can do in that ring is just utterly mad.
Neville?
Yeah.
Like, man,
outright.
The red arrow.
Yeah.
Every time I see that red arrow, it just looks better every day.
Yeah. And
I love it.
He got it flush in this match. These two had a good match. You owe it to yourself to watch. It was the best match on the night.
Easily.
But as you expect it, Neville against Kidd, you expect to have a great match.
You get a great
match. It's just awesome. But he gets the victory here with the red arrow. Cuts a promo afterwards. He says he's back on the track and regaining his championship.
As the most
dominant.
He was the longest reigning NXT champion.
No, Bo Dallas was. Are you sure? I'm pretty sure Bo Dallas was longer. Oh, okay. But he wants to be called the most dominant champion. By doing that, he would have to get the belt back, and that's what he's going for. And so, yeah, brilliant for him, and he's still being shown out in a great light. I do think he is bound for the main roster. Possibly after Mania.
Now that he's dropped the belt.
Yeah, especially now he's dropped the belt. I don't see him getting it back. And let's hope that he gets viewed in the way that we view him, and not in the way that he could be viewed, because that could be dangerous for him. In terms of.
I've just had another thought when it comes to the. We'll cover it later. Yeah. Obviously, we've got another match. Yeah. 2 matches to get through.
So, Sasha Banks is being interviewed backstage, stating that she expects Becky Lynch to do the right thing and to help her win the title. She starts to walk off, and then Lynch stays behind and says, "You know what? I will do the right thing. I'll win the title myself."
Yep.
Showing off her Irish twang a lot in that statement. But you know what? This is one thing I said before. What's the one thing that all the divas want on this show? They want the NXT Women's Champion. Even Lynch. She's been allied with Sasha Banks. She wants to be the champion.
Yeah.
That's the main thing that everyone goes for. And I love the fact that every woman in this match, they've actively said, I'm going for the belt. That's what I want. Above anything else. Yep. I want that title.
That's why I'm here.
That's why I'm here. So that leads into the tag team divas match. You've got Charlotte and Bayley against Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. A good showcase here to show what we could expect from the TakeOver match.
Yep.
There was, however, and I do have to highlight, we have to call it as we see it, there was one bad spot that did include, I think it was Bayley fucking up a spot.
Throwing Sasha out the ring.
Yeah, I think no, it wasn't so much that, it was like, she was supposed to bounce up against the ropes, but then it did an arm drag, but Sasha attacked her from the back. It looked awkward.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't look right. It looked a bit sloppy to me. However, I thought that the whole thing was quickly mopped up, and I tell you what, as soon as Charlotte entered the ring, anything less than excellence was removed from the match. Yeah. I think I can't sing her praises more than enough. So yeah, I thought all women had at least a good account for themselves, showed something that they can do. And then it ends up in a no contest as Bayley blocks a pinfall, but attacks Charlotte at the same time, and that leads to both of them fighting each other, scrambling over each other. It just
breaks down from there.
And then the referees have to separate them, which I thought was a pretty good visual. You got Bayley there separated from them, and they look at each other all battered. Good. That's going to look good in vignettes leading up to this match. Definitely. I promise you that. And it may end up coming to a point where we get another moment like we did, possibly. Maybe they do the flip side where Charlotte knows she's beaten and Bayley's in the position that Charlotte was in. But maybe Bayley doesn't win the title because one of them distracts her. But when they could flip that on its head, you got Charlotte there knowing that she's going to get pinned, and then Bayley's in that dominant position. I love the way they did that in their first match. Yeah,
definitely.
Just that was beautiful
just
in terms
like
of in-ring story.
Still just sort of staring down. It's like I know I'm done, but I'm not.
Yeah. It was a good moment. I remember that, and that did more for Bayley. I think
loads.
Yeah, that did so much for Bayley, and she lost that match, but she still came out looking great. So I'm going to say this, and I know we've been burnt before. I've been burnt by Paige. I said that she was the chosen one. can Charlotte be the new chosen one? Can she be the one? I know, right? But can she be the woman to bring back a legitimate champion to the main roster? Could she bring wrestling back to the main roster? She's a Flair.
I was going to say, she has dad weight.
Yeah.
So...
I don't know. I think maybe I'm getting a little bit too into that, and we've been burnt before. One thing I will say for her, though, I love her figure four leg lock. I love that she's made it her own move.
Yeah. The one thing I've just really enjoyed is like when Charlotte first turned up, she was like, "I know I'm a Flair, but I don't want anyone to. That's not who I am. That's not what I want to be known for."
Yeah, yeah.
But now she's like proper taking it in her stride. You know what? I am a Flair.
Yeah.
I am the daughter of a 2-time Hall of Famer, a 16-time world champion.
I'm a champion.
This.
Yeah.
I am a champion. It's like, and she's owned it, but it's not to the point that she's just like a female knockoff.
No,
she is her own person, but she is her own Flair.
You could say that she's evolved her father's legacy into something that she can use that's unique to herself.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what you should do when you're like that.
Hell, she doesn't do the crazy strut.
No, she doesn't do anything like she. But I love the way that she's almost got it, almost like the way that Ric Flair used to do. That she can. I've always said that she conducts herself like a champion. That's something that Ric Flair used to do back in his day.
Yeah.
He would look like a champion. He would look like he's the
profiling.
The star of the show. But she's doing it in her own way, and it feels just as legitimate as it does back then. So I've got all props for her. But can she be the chosen one? I don't know. I don't want to get heartbroken again.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
Don't jinx it.
The chosen one will come.
You were meant to be the chosen one, Paige, but you went to the dark side. Finn Balor is backstage. He's speaking about his match with Hideo Itami. He said he didn't realise that the match would happen so soon, and friendships are nothing when the NXT title is involved, like the fact that I was added in.
Yep.
Hideo interrupts and says, well, he brought Balor to NXT. He will take him out if need be.
Ooh.
Nice little bit. I think both men do need work on their promos. In fact, one thing I would say about Balor, all he needs to do, and it's something very small, he needs to tweak his body and his face that matches the camera a bit more. I noticed that here. You couldn't really see him. He was talking straight to the interview. Actually, no, you do need to have it so the camera can see, your face, your reactions to what's going on. But you know what? That's just a small tweaking thing.
Yeah, it's a little thing.
It's from a guy who isn't used to being on TV each week.
Yeah.
That's just the end of it. That's part. Balor is fantastic. His whole presentation, his wrestling ability is great. But this part of him being in
literally just like, can you just like turn it down a little bit?
Yeah. But part of that is him learning how to be on the camera to
still get it out of him anyway.
I know he's been on shows before, but what I mean is on a weekly basis.
Yeah. To be fair, like they've got Dusty.
Yeah, they'll
sort it.
They'll sort it. Hideo, the only issue with him, I think he's got the confidence. All I think is he just needs to get a little bit more confident with the English language. That's all he needs to do, and he's getting there. He's much better with it now than he was when he came in. In a couple of months' time, this might be a non-issue. He may be just fine. He certainly looks like he's
a Goku-looking little ninja.
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he's good. But come on, guys, Balor versus Itami should be. It's big enough to be its own match at TakeOver.
Yeah,
come on, this is going to be mouth-watering.
This is another one of those just mouth-watering matches.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, no.
It's going to be
no good. More. Can't take it.
It's too good. But yeah, it should be something special. And next week NXT is must watch because of this match, just outright. Emma is interviewed backstage. She says that she's back in NXT as things didn't really work out on the main roster. And it starts with a rematch with Carmella. And I know I shouldn't, Matt, but I look at Emma with so much regret. I look at her as if she's someone who she has the look of someone that's
left with so much potential.
Yeah. And I don't look at her thinking, well, she's got a bright future. I just look at her and think, damn. That's all going to waste because I just don't see them getting back into her. I don't see her getting back into the character of Emma, giving her the push. I can't get enthusiastic about Emma because I know there isn't a big comeback on the books for her. They don't have much interest.
Why are you back?
Yeah, just stating. I know obviously you have to. Things didn't work on the main roster for her. But
paired up with Santino was instantly a wrong thing.
considering he retired soon after that anyway, it wasn't exactly great. And then obviously all the stuff happened with her anyway. It's a sad state of affairs for her. I don't think coming back to NXT will revitalise her career. I think it's basically where she can wrestle out the rest of her contract and then she'll be released.
Yeah.
And that's... I don't think WWE wanted her around after that incident. They had to rehire her back because of the negative, because it was them jumping on the gun too early with it. And the fact is that they were setting a precedent that they couldn't hold, you know. But I think from that moment on they didn't want her around, and now they're going to let her just do out her contract. Done.
That's it.
That's it.
So we got a few more. We get a little bit more bubbles in NXT.
A little bit more. A swan song, shall we say.
Yeah.
That's all I can see, guys. I know it's really sad, but what else can I say?
Yeah.
Fortunately, she's probably going to be jobbing
she's
to
wrestling
Carmella.
I can't even remember why she's...
I didn't see up to that point, but I think she'll job to Carmella.
I don't even remember, like, I'm back to have a rematch. I was like, I don't remember you wrestling Carmella.
Oh, okay. Ball Dempsey against Baron Corbin.
I was about to say, I don't even remember seeing Carmella wrestle, but then she lost to Blue Pants recently.
Oh, yeah. I haven't even seen it. I don't even know what it's about, but I want to. It just sounds so bonkers. Anyway, Ball Dempsey against Baron Corbin. You may be wondering, well, didn't we already see this match?
Yes.
You're right, you did see this match. And this match wasn't much different from the first one, really. It was probably the longest match Corbin's ever had, but I would state 2 minutes instead of 30 seconds isn't that much more of an improvement.
Yeah, that's true. It's still a fast match.
Still a fast match, yeah. But the thing is, the thing about Corbin, he's never going to be a ring technician. And I'd argue that his character doesn't need to be one.
No.
In fact, it would be wrong for him to be one. Why not make him a brawler? The way he is now. Make him a scrapper. There's certainly a space on the roster for a guy like that. In fact, Austin, in the biggest stage of his career, was not known for doing hammer locks into waist, into wrist locks, into head takedowns, into head, into all this other...
Into throw off, throw off ropes, arm drag, lock.
All the chain wrestlings, you know what I mean? Like... He wasn't known for that. He was known for kicking people's ass. Corbin can be that guy who doesn't say much, but does what he does in the ring.
As a big 6'7" guy,
exactly.
Why not?
It doesn't last too long. Corbin lands the end of days, wins the match, and he sets up his match against the former NXT champion, Adrian Neville. That will be a good test of what Corbin is, and I think that, obviously the match will last a bit longer, but... You could have it here where Corbin does get a bit of offense dealt on him here, because the majority of his matches, he's barely hurt, if anything. Yeah. Can you imagine, though, Adrian Neville selling at end of days? Jesus Christ, that guy will flip and just bounce.
See, this is where I was thinking, because before we recorded, I was saying to you, this would be quite interesting, because you can have them proper go at it, and this is to prove that Corbin can take some hits. And especially from the former NXT champion.
Yeah.
And if he wins, that solidifies a bit further. But then I was also thinking, what if he loses and Neville wins? And then we could essentially get an Adrian Neville versus Finn Balor match.
I won't let myself get excited about it.
I won't get myself excited. Because you want Corbin to go... They need to build Corbin, especially if Neville's going to be going off to the main roster.
Yeah.
So... But still, I'm really excited to see that sort of match of Neville versus Corbin, because it's a brawler and a bounce machine.
Yeah.
It's a brawler and a bouncy ball.
Yeah, and a pinball, just like bouncing all around the place. I think that, Corbin, he's still in developmental because he still needs to learn. He's in the right place he should be right now. But I tell you what, Adrian Neville will get a good match out of him. I really do think that. I think that you're going to have a good match between these guys.
He'll definitely drag one out of him.
It won't be better than Balor against Tatami, but there's damn sure not a lot of matches that can be better than that. That's just outright, right?
Well, to be perfectly honest, it's not like Baron Corbin has a string of great matches to beat.
Yeah. I think it'll be the best match he's had in his career to this day, and majority of that will be because of Neville's greatness, but they're in developmental. That's what they're there for, okay?
Exactly.
Corbin is then interviewed backstage after his win. He's interrupted by Ball Dempsey, who says, and this is quite funny, that he got lucky twice. I would call that, two utterly comprehensive victories.
Twice. You got your ass kicked.
Yeah, there's no luck about it. You're destroyed.
It's not like you got lucky. What, sneaky roll-ups? No.
They haven't learned that in NXT, man. They haven't learned that yet.
That's the signature. That's welcome to the main roster.
Yeah.
But it's like, you got lucky. To hit the end of days, Yeah, no luck really.
Yeah.
He swung your fat ass.
He slammed your entire body into the mat at a very fast pace and pinned you 1, 2, 3. I wouldn't call that luck. I'd say that's a victory, a comprehensive one. And I feel bad for Bull Dempsey here because, to be honest, he's just been used as a avenue to basically for Corbin just to beat on for a while, being used as initial bait for Corbin. What I mean by initial bait is that he's not even going to be the guy that Corbin eventually feuds with. He's just being the guy that makes Corbin look good. That's not going to do anything good for Dempsey. He hasn't been looked at as a legitimate challenger to Corbin at this point.
The only problem is the fact that there was at one point where I quite like Bull, but I was like, he's just a big jobber.
Yeah, he is a big jobber. That's the only issue there. But then Corbin then just pushes him back via the draw. I like the fact he did that because that's a little bit more personal. You know, you can do it by the throat or whatever. But to the draw, it's like, I'm just in charge of you. You're nothing to me. I thought that was pretty cool. So we get to the last segment of the show, the contract signing for the supposed non-title match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, which will be the main event at TakeOver.
Yep.
William Regal promises a contract signing without physical altercations. He does the impossible. There was no physical altercations in the contract signing. What was going on?
I was like, there's a table. It's Kevin Owens.
Oh, yeah.
Sammy's going through a table.
Yeah. So Sami Zayn comes out. He seems slightly emotionally disrupted by the history that they have. You know, Kevin Owens coming out as well.
Yep.
They say, I've known you for 12 years. I should have known you better, but I guess I didn't. I thought we were friends, and you backstabbed me. It should have been the greatest moment of my life. You know, all the stuff you'd expect. But he said it like a guy who was legitimately hurt by it. So, fair play to him there. However, Owens here, and I love the fact that his promo here I thought was really good. He states he doesn't want an ordinary match, and that, as much as Sami Zayn believes it to be, it wasn't personal. His attack on Sami Zayn. It was business because winning the NXT Championship means more money for himself, his 2 children, and his wife.
Yeah.
I love the fact that as a blatant heel, and he is a blatant heel at this point.
Oh God, yeah.
He still has a reason for his actions. He gave us in one sentence a reason for his actions.
It's working. The thing is, that excuse is working for Kevin Owens, but it didn't work for the Big Show.
Yeah.
I did it for my life, for my family. Oh, we ain't buying it. Kevin Owens goes, I'm doing it because that means more money. Better life. Oh, fair play.
I think the fans remember the fact that Big Show had an apparently ironclad contract. Do you remember that? A little bit harder. And the guy's been in wrestling for God knows how long. If you haven't saved up that much money, then
I'm pretty sure you're well off.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. You're on a weekly televised show for 2 decades and more, and then you should be a bit better off.
You've been champion a few times.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Owens, he's still, making a name for himself. And he came off much more genuine here. So even as a blatant heel, he has a reason for his actions. Do you remember me saying that before? The whole issue with Ambrose? Yeah, the whole character development. Yeah. The fact is that Ambrose and White didn't have a reason for their actions.
Why are you fighting? Meh.
They never told us in all those months that they were fighting the reason why they were fighting each other. Owens, in one sentence, explains exactly why he did what he did.
It's that whole thing. It's like that White. It's like, I see myself in you. Okay.
I see myself in you, man. Some of the things that you do. We're friends. Does that mean I have to fight you for 2 months now, randomly? Okay. Some of our fans might see something of ourselves in them. Should we go to the house and have a table match?
We shall settle this in an ambulance match.
Yeah, it's like this makes no sense to me.
No.
But I just think that Owens as a character, sordid as his actions, how backstabbing his actions are. In his mind, it's for the greater good.
Justified.
It was justified in his mind. That's character progression, character, development,
build up.
That's all we need. Just one line, and it was fine. It's dealt with. We don't have any issue with it now, and it makes some people may look at Owens now and think, well, would I do that for my family? Try and make them more money, for my 2 girls at home, and anything like that. I think I like the way they did this. So Owens essentially says here, well, I'm not having a match if it's a non-title match.
Yeah.
And William Regal tries
to sell him. I've told you before, I'm here to become champion.
Yeah, that's it. And Sami Zayn says, well, no, he won't. I know him. He won't fight me if it's not a title match, and I'm fine with it being a title match.
Yeah.
So they now make it a NXT Championship title match, and then to cap off the end of the show.
So all of you guys in the number 1 contender competition, fuck you all.
Yeah, well, no, they'll get the match afterwards, of course. But the fact is that I thought Sami Zayn here was brilliant. He was very emotional, and you get the idea that Owens outplayed.
There's a lot of passion in Zayn.
Yeah, but Owens mentally outplayed Zayn in this segment.
Yeah.
You know, because he's not as emotionally invested as Sami Zayn is at
He's
this
more
point.
cold and calculated.
Yeah. So, they've told a completely believable story with this. I'm okay with it being a title match at this point.
I'm good.
And I just think that the way that this match goes, come on, it's Kevin Owens against Sami Zayn. This will be one hell of a match. Well, there's just no getting around.
To be perfectly honest, just go on YouTube. El Generico versus Kevin Steen.
Yeah,
you will see some great matches. Yeah. And now we get to see some on NXT.
Yeah, I mean, I'd argue. I mean, if you tell you what, if you want to keep not want to see those matches just to keep it a surprise, how good? Trust me, guys, you won't be disappointed when it comes to these. I would put our reputation on the lines and state that is going to be one hell of a fight, if not one hell of a match. So it would be good. All in all, NXT as a whole, I thought it was a great show. No weak links.
NXT was NXT.
Yeah.
Nothing short of perfect.
I think that NXT has a feeling of often all killer, no filler. That it's got 1 hour to fill and it can fill it very well.
Yeah. But the fact that it can fill it with matches and development.
Yeah, exactly. But however, imagine if this show was drawn out over 3 hours. It would be a pretty shitty show. And unfortunately, that's kind of makes you think maybe.
I reckon they could push NXT to a 2.
Possibly. Maybe.
Well, but then I'd probably just keep it as a 1.
Yeah, the hour thing is perfect.
Considering Takeover's a 2-hour show.
Yeah, I think an hour is perfect NXT. But the way the point I'm trying to get across is, imagine if they brought Raw down just a little bit. Then you start getting a lot of that filler just weeded out, and it becomes a much more.
We don't have to see how the opening started, how Raw started 4 times.
Yeah,
not halfway through the night.
It's stupid, isn't it? But NXT brilliant this week, and
we rag on it, so we're going to be finding out for ourselves firsthand.
Yeah, because we're going there soon. Yeah. I think that there's a lot of lessons here that hopefully the takeover event will light a fire up the main roster's ass crack, like it always does. Again. How many times have they done it? Well, they've had 4 specials, all of them rumoredly, that's not even a rumoured, that it has
been to have better performed.
It's annoyed the main roster, the fact that it's been better, which, tells, I think, a big story in regards to, some of the talent they have in their supposed developmental and some of they have on the main roster doesn't really match up that well.
That's like one thing I quite like, because it was just like, this goes back to a very, not very old, but it's an older Jericho podcast with Adrian Neville and Sami Zayn. And it's like, Sami Zayn has actually more experience in the industry than John Cena.
Yeah.
But John Cena's the one who's been in WWE the longest. So it's that sort of thing. It's like, you look at them as like they're developmental, but it doesn't mean they're green.
Yeah.
Like, they have, travelled the world.
Yeah.
But, you look at... to go back to Finn Balor, you go around and you search Prince Devitt on YouTube, and you'll see some amazing matches.
Yeah.
But it's just like, he's in NXT. That's the developmental place. It doesn't mean he's only been in the industry. It doesn't mean he took his first bump 6 months ago.
Yeah. But sometimes it's
I think with TakeOver, I think they have a bit more freedom. I think it's still the WWE way of doing things, but it's like, you go out there and you kill it.
Yeah. Yeah, you show us why we should call you up to the main roster. I think that I think that if they do sign these big indie stars, I don't think they should come onto the main roster immediately. You look at Finn Balor here, who maybe I think does need to tweak a little bit because of the camera work, not being used to the WWE production.
That's it.
Spend a bit of time there. But there's no way, look at Sami Zayn has been on developmental for almost 2 years. That to me is wrong. Right, he should have been called up a long, long time ago. He shouldn't be wrestling with
especially some of the matches he had against Cesaro.
Yeah, I mean, I think that proved him back then. Let alone he's been proving it ever since.
Yeah.
But who knows? At the end of the day, how many times have we rued these guys being called up to the main roster, not being used? Yeah. Maybe we want him to stay down a bit longer so he can experience more. I hate the most.
I think if you think about it, people who have been called up, who have had good runs. Rollins?
The Shield, all of them, I'd say.
All the Shield.
Wyatt, I'd say, except for... I think Harper's been okay.
Well, Bray and Harper, yeah.
Bo Dallas is gone. He's just not been around. Big E's been a bit of a dud.
Rinse, wash and repeat.
Yeah. Paige, I'd say, has done pretty well for herself. She's integrated herself. I mean, we joke that she was the chosen one, but let's face it, she's making a lot of money. She's featured regularly. She's wrestling at least a regular rate, so she's doing okay. but she still hasn't had a match as good as she had against Emma.
Adam Rose.
Adam Rose been
shit. Xavier Woods.
Nothing really.
Nothing at all. They're two like prime examples of just like, yeah, we're gonna bring them up to the main roster. Why? They clearly aren't ready.
Yeah.
Or you clearly have no plan for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a shame. But at the end of the day, I still here's a question that maybe we don't have that much time to go into at the moment.
Yeah.
But do we want these guys to constantly keep giving us great stuff at NXT, or have at least a shot at becoming a big time star on the main roster?
Yeah.
That's a question. In fact, that's the question I'd like our fans to answer to us this week.
Yep.
Would you risk what you have now with the likes of Hideo Itami, Finn Balor,
Sami Zayn,
Adrian Neville, or do you want them to have at least one shot at the big time? Right. That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
And you know what? Me and you will mull over it over this week. I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot about it. We'll give our answers next week on the show.
Definitely.
But apart from that, that's us this week, guys.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us for this episode. It's like I said, sorry for the change in audio, but it's because we're sitting next to each other, you know. That's the difference of it here. I hope you did enjoy the episode. And thanks for all the awesome fan feedback.
Loads of it, and it's been great.
Keep it going, guys. We're willing to keep it going, and we'll have a Raw to watch and review next week as well on the lead up to Fastlane, which I'm not that excited for, but still.
I really miss. I'm missing the chamber. It's like I love the Elimination Chamber.
Oh dear. We'll just get Dr. Shelby to calm your nerves, you know, so you'll be okay. But however, guys, thank you a lot for watching this episode. We do hope that you enjoy it. If you do, then make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you won't miss any future episodes. And if you want to support the show, then you can share it all over social media. You can send a tweet to Matt, who's now, like I said, you know, the whole Paul Heyman thing. Twitter star Paul Heyman. At Talk WrestlePod is the handle there. We do know that we've got a bunch of new followers on our Twitter handle, which is cool. But apart from that, thank you again for watching this week, guys. We will catch you next week, and we hope you have a great week. Say goodbye to them, Matt.
I will catch you soon.
Bye-bye.